go. Ta-da! Good morning, sunshines. You guys, third time's the charm. If you're wondering why I don't jump on right at 8, sometimes I have to start my video over and over again because I press live and it goes, and it just freezes and then it won't do anything and then I have to start all over my post. So good morning, sunshines. I'm gonna tag friends. So, or maybe invite friends. I want you guys to invite anybody that you know that sleep or does not sleep. I am coming to you as Fit Coach today. So we're gonna talk about sleep habits. This is all a bunch of good lessons. So I'm gonna tag some people that I know that sleep right now or don't sleep. I'm just actually tagging all the first people that are in my whatever invite list. So if you guys are getting a tag, that is exactly why. It's not because I think that you're any of those things that I said, which, what did I put? Like, man, I don't even know. But anyways, I just tagged a bunch of y'all. Good morning, sunshines. Okay, so tag anybody that you know that sleeps or doesn't sleep. Okay, no, really, you guys, if you know somebody who has bad sleep habits, maybe it's because of their job or they oversleep or undersleep, this might be just some good information for people to have. So that's why I was tagging y'all. Sound good? Right with your good morning sunshine or your hashtag GMS, Jose, Soira, I didn't get to see any of you guys. Ryan, Amy, Joni, good morning everybody. Danielle, Doug, Brianna. This is your chance right now to participate, right? Write your good morning sunshine. And then we start off to have a powerful day. We start off with our gratitude. It always changes internally how we can wake up and see the light of day no matter what's going on in your life. So today, good morning, Megan. Hey, I'm grateful for Megan. You guys, she stepped in. She goes to our smoothie shop over in Brighton. And she was doing cardio drumming, I think one of the first days, right, Meg? And we're like, oh yeah, you should lead a class or lead a song. And then pretty soon she was leading every single class. So thank you for my sore bum because my legs and my hammies and my glutes are so sore. They are every time I drum with you. So I'm grateful for you today. You guys share. Yes, Jody Walker has a new job she loves. Oh, no, for a job you love, not for a new job, but for the job you love. That's awesome. Share anything that you're grateful for. And remember, yesterday we talked about always kind of expanding upon that. Like you can start with the majors, which is awesome, but then find gratitude for this guy. Like, do you guys have one of these? It's a meat cruncher. I don't know. One of my friends got me and I'm grateful for her. But when you're cooking any sort of ground turkey or beef, you just crunch it up and it makes the perfect little, I don't know, sauce pan seared meat. I'm grateful for that, right? So practice that, share with us, and then let's get into sleep. Let me talk to you guys. As Fit Coach today, I actually looked up, I have notes because I'm used to doing this just in conjunction with weight gain or weight loss. And I want to talk to you guys about some more things and about your sleep habits. So before I start, I'm going to ask you guys to do something. And hopefully you're still you're on here participating. So if you're not driving, I want to know how many hours a night do you sleep on average? I know I've talked about sleep before, but this is what I want to know. Because this will be a little bit more information. How many hours of sleep on average? I'm sorry, how many hours? Yeah. How many hours of sleep on average? You guys, it's like a mirror so I can do my hair. I haven't brushed my hair yet this morning. You guys love this? How many hours do you sleep a night on average? I want you to post that because I want to give some examples here. So that's one thing that I want you to post. And if you're well, on the weekdays it's this, on the weekends that's fine. Look at that, guys. Looks good, right? 7. I've got a 7. I did do this before. I remember, but that's fine. We're doing it again because it was on my heart this morning. And I'll tell you why I picked this subject for the day is because I slept until 7 o'clock. I've been getting up at 5:15 every morning. Good morning, Gary. I heard that Pat got to go see you and I didn't. That's not fair. 6 to 6.5. What's up, stranger? Wow, it's been a long time. How are you doing? Okay, share more hours. I want to know how many hours do I sleep a night? This is a real question. I'm asking you guys for reals. So share that in there. There's no right answer or wrong answer. I'm just trying to do kind of a poll to see. And the reason why I was talking about this is because last night, like I said, I slept until 7. I noticed I've been feeling good the last 3 days, so I don't have to go to bed at 8 at night anymore. And with that, I went to bed at 10 the night before, and I was tired, but I couldn't sleep last night because it was hotter than hell. How about you guys? We have a swamp cooler, but it was still so hot. So I woke up later and I felt great. We've got some 6 to 7s, we got some 6 to 6.5s, we got some 7 to 8s, we've got some 7s, a few different answers. All right. So when we talk about sleep, one of the things I love to just kick off like in this like arena is sometimes what I hear in my industry, when I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you guys about let's make it the best life ever and let's run after our dreams and goals. A lot of times when I go to a different conference or education or seminar, you hear from those successful people, right? Like those really successful people, like, you know what? Sleep less. Like, why are you sleeping so damn much? You gotta grind, you gotta work, you gotta, like, why are you sleeping so much? And I'll go to events and like, did you know if you just sleep 1 hour less every night, you can pick up 365 hours of sleep a year, which equates to almost 1 month of extra work that you get to do. And I hear all this like this talk about sleep less because if you're badass, you sleep less. Does anybody else hear this? Like sleeping less is like cool if you're like really like running after things. Well, I have a different mindset, which is weird because I'm all about motivating, right, and inspiring. Sleeping less to me is not effective. I'm just gonna say that, you guys. I think that's awesome. That's great. Some people want to sleep 5-6 hours. There are very few people, I'll tell you, that I know that are grinding so many hours a day that they can't fit in another hour of sleep. And by that, I mean, if you're like, okay, so I'm gonna sleep less so I get more done, first do this for me. Evaluate your entire day and find the other areas where you waste time. Because I guarantee you, sleep is more important than an hour of social media. Sleep is more important than watching TV. Sleep is more important than like having your mind wander at the end of the night while you're just sitting there. Sleep is more important than a lot of these other things where we're wasting time and we say, oh yeah, I'm just gonna sleep less because that means that I'm in the grind, right? Be in the grind when you're awake and sleep when you're supposed to sleep, because I'm gonna tell you why. All right. And everybody, you guys, if you just jumped on, share with me the number of hours that you sleep, and I'm going to tell you how that could impact your life. Just coming to you as Fit Coach today. So sleep deprivation is kind of a generalized term, and it just means undersleeping. All right. It means sleeping during the wrong times of the day, which would be according to what your body's cycle is. Like if you always sleep during the day and you're always awake at night, you've probably created that sleep cycle. But if you're flipping back and forth, you're having deprivation when you're not sleeping during your body's natural cycle. And sleep is laying down but not actually getting enough sleep and going through all the sleep cycles, your REM, your light sleep, your heavy sleep during those times. Do any of you guys have the Fitbit that actually shows you that stuff? Because that's super cool, right? I was looking at my mom's the other day about when she's in different zones and why that's important, which is neat. So that's what sleep deprivation is. How much is the right amount of sleep? And you guys, I am not a doctor, P.S. I study stuff. So this is where I'm bringing you this information from, is from research of other individuals and doctors. So don't take this from me, take this from my research that I've been doing, right? The appropriate amount of sleep is, they've generalized between 7 to 9 hours, all right? There are studies that show around 7 hours is about the sweet spot, but over 7 hours, like you've got to hit the 7-hour mark. Sleeping underneath less than 7 hours. Good morning, guys. Everybody else is jumping on. I'm just like talking. I'm not even saying hi because I'm going for it. Sleeping less than 7 hours puts you in the sleep deprivation category. Sleeping more than 9 hours puts you in the excessive sleep category. So if you're right in the 7 to 8, I want you to like look at this like this. You probably you're not impacted by some of these things, all right? But if you're on either side, or you know other people that you can think of, man, they are sleep deprived, I want you to kind of just understand some things that could be going on with your body. So here's another question for you, right? I love to think about things this way. Good morning, Brenda. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Catherine. So does anybody have problems with this? You don't have to be like, yes, I have a hard time learning. You don't have to answer like that, but just think to yourselves, okay? Do you have trouble learning things a little bit? Like, is it challenging, right? Do you have a little bit of a problem making decisions? Like do you want to wear blue or green today? Do you want to go to breakfast or do you want to stay at home? Do whatever it is. Do you feel like making decisions is a little bit challenging for you? Like, where do we want to eat today? Oh man, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure, right? Like that sort of thing. Do you have decreased problem solving skills? So like there's a situation and you're like, I don't even know. Like I give up, like I'm kind of like hands up, right? Is it hard to control your emotions sometimes? Do you feel easily agitated, lifted up, lifted down in any way? Do you have a hard time coping with change? Is change difficult for you? And guys, change is difficult for more people. But here's the thing. Those are all the cognitive reactions of not having enough sleep on, so your brain reaction of not having enough sleep is going to be, well, first of all, if you have enough sleep, it improves your learning. So if you're like, well, I don't know if I have a hard time learning, but you're only sleeping 5 hours a night, you might learn that language, that golf stroke, that new skill, that dance, that next thing that you're whatever studying. You might learn that. You're going to have an improved opportunity to learn that. You actually create, while you're sleeping, do you guys know how I talk to you about how your brain creates new neural pathways? Not while you're sleeping, just that it has the ability to. That happens while you're sleeping. Your brain is actually carving new neural pathways while you're sleeping. So your brain is getting smarter, but you got to sleep for that to happen. You need to hit all your sleep cycles. So having enough sleep improves your learning and it increases new neural pathways. Not having enough sleep makes it difficult to make decisions. It makes it difficult to solve problems. It makes it hard to control your emotions, and it makes it hard for you to cope to change. That's just your brain's reactions. Okay, so number one, if you're not sleeping enough, your brain is not functioning as well as it could. And you guys stick with me if you're like, I already sleep enough, because guess what? For you sleepers, I have another side to this coin for you guys. Okay, so for health, what happens with your when you're not sleeping enough? When you don't get enough sleep, there's an increased risk of heart disease. There's an increased risk of kidney disease. You're prone to higher blood pressure. You have an increased risk of strokes and an increased risk of diabetes. So when you're sleeping, if you don't sleep enough, it starts to hormonally change your body, because your body needs that rest to change your hormones. All right. And if you whatever, this is good. I need to learn this like over and over again. You guys might have listened to my last sleep one, but now you're like, okay, now I'm remembering some of it. So you have increased blood sugar levels if you're not sleeping enough, and that can contribute towards diabetes, right? You have to these two hormones, but this is usually all I talk about as Fit Coach, because I talk about weight gain. But you have an increased risk of obesity. So when I have a client who's not losing weight well, I'm going to ask about their sleep cycle. Are you sleeping enough? Because if you're not, and you have any deprivation, even the wrong times of the day, that's going to affect you, right? So that could be, it's your leptin and your ghrelin, and the adjustment of that is going to make you feel hungrier, and it's going to not make you feel full. So you have more ghrelin, so you feel hungrier, and you have less leptin, which is what makes you full. So now you actually feel like you need to eat more all day long. Your brain is telling you to eat because you're not sleeping enough. That's why you have weight gain, in addition to all these other things, right? But that's gonna impact your body. Okay, so the next thing is you got decreased fertility. So going to be harder to make those babies. So obviously I'm not sleep deprived here. And you have less muscle mass. While you're sleeping, you can increase your muscle mass. All of these different things because you're not sleeping enough. And I'm going to get to the other side of the coin real quick. But here's the deal. Before I go into that, I'm sorry, there's one more. That was brain health and safety. So did you guys know that there are over 100,000 accidents a year caused by sleep deprivation and 1,500 deaths? So that could be falling asleep at the wheel. It could be, and I'm sorry, this is just related to driving. This is just related, like there are other things that happen too, like long-term like results, but like just relating to driving, 1,500 deaths because people aren't sleeping enough, right? 100,000 accidents. So think about all the other injuries. All of this is a result because we make the choice not to sleep enough. And some of you might have a lot of extenuating circumstances, but I'm just gonna head this one straight on. Most of us that don't sleep enough, it's because of the choices that we make. Number one, we're either trying to be a badass because we're like, if I sleep less, I'll get more done. I'm telling you what, if you sleep or if you work the other 16 hours of the day and you're solid and you're productive during those times, you have 8 hours to sleep. And, oh, by the way, I didn't mention this, that sleep decreases, if you have sleep deprivation, it decreases your productivity. So yeah, you might have slept like 2 hours less, but you made more mistakes. You were not as productive during your day. So you're actually just putting yourself behind because you're not getting your sleep, right? So what I was saying is that it's the choices that we make. And the choices that we make, I'm saying is number one, you think you're badass, right? And this used to be me, by the way. I used to sleep 6 hours every night. I made myself. That's what I thought I was supposed to do because that's what somebody instructed me to do. And then I started doing my own research, right? So do your own research after this. Perfect. I'll post a couple articles actually for you guys. But outside of that, is that you might be wasting the hours of the evening, right? Scheduling, we talked about this, scheduling yourself to wake up the same time every day, Monday through Sunday. I wake up at 6 a.m., I wake up at 7 a.m., I wake up whatever. Having a consistent sleep cycle is going to adjust your depression, your emotion, your emotional state is going to help you if you have a same time you wake up every day. So if that's going to be 6 every day, then you want to work your way backwards. That means you need to be asleep at 11 every night. By 11, and actually asleep, not just laying there going through your phone. So the decisions that we make, we're like, well, I can't wind down. Well, I just came home. Well, that's my only time to myself without the kids. Well, like excuse, right? Usually somebody's not out grinding from 9 until 11. They're not doing something that's completely productive for their lifestyle and their jobs. And if they are, they probably could have done it 2 hours prior to that. Or they probably could do it when they get up in the morning. But we make the excuse of why we're not doing it. And you guys, your sleep cycle and your brain is not going to get set until you make it happen. You have to rewire your brain. It is 10:30, I have to go lay down. And then there's different things you can do to help yourself go to sleep. Have a dark room, take away all electronics, no phones in the room, relax, meditate, go through your gratitude. If you need, like there's sleep now, there's relax now, there's some things that can assist that process. But that's gonna take some time for you to train your body, because currently you're training your body to stay up and ignore the request to sleep. All right, so that's talking about undersleeping and all the things, the ways that it can affect your brain, your emotional state, your productivity, your health, your weight, your safety, all of those things, right? And that last thing here, because I thought this would be short and sweet again, it's not, that's fine, is what about you oversleepers? Right? So you guys, if you're just jumping on, tell me how many hours per night you sleep, because we're just identifying where you're at in the range. So if you're like, I'm good, I sleep 9 hours every night. And I know some people that sleep 9, 10, 11, like they're like 10 is a solid good night for me, right? Just so you know, sleeping more than 9 hours each night also can negatively affect your health in almost all of the same ways. It's crazy, you guys. It's like, this is the amount that we need, no more, no less. That's pretty much the answer that we have when it comes to sleep. But if you're an oversleeper, you have impaired cognition, so your brain also does not work as well. You have an increased likelihood of depression. You have increased inflammation. And I'm not saying like that's what you have, but this is what excess sleep produces, okay? Increased inflammation, increased pain, decreased fertility, increased obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. I'm gonna say that one more time. So not only is it poor for your body if you're sleeping less than 7 hours, but if you're sleeping more than 9 hours, your brain doesn't function as well. You're not all there when you're trying to figure stuff out. When you feel like, I just feel kind of foggy, you're sleeping too much, right? You feel kind of down and out, depression, sleeping too much. Increased inflammation, so that's just in your joints, and you could have like joints, like problems with your increased inflammation, increased pain. Once again, you're trying to have a baby, your decreased fertility because you're sleeping too much, increased obesity. So now you're telling me I'm going to gain weight if I don't sleep enough, and if I sleep too much? Yes, surprise. Okay, increased diabetes, heart disease, and stroke, because of sleeping too much. Now, like Kelly's talking about the having teenagers, right? Yeah, so it's tough on your sleep schedule, right? In this, I told you guys, this is for an 18-year-old adult, right? 18 years and older. Our sleep cycle, 7 to 9 hours, ideally around 7 hours. If you're getting less, it's messing with your life. If you're getting more, it's messing with your life. Use alarms and create a time that you sleep at night. I sleep from this time to this time. And guess what? It doesn't, like, you can just miss a couple hours of sleep 2 days in a row, and your body thinks it didn't sleep for an entire night. Like, your body gets so out of whack just from a couple hours of sleep missed, right? Or you're like, well, I sleep 5 hours during the weekdays, but then I catch up on the weekends. You're messing up your sleep cycle, and your guys is actually like your the system, like where we're trying to create consistency in your schedule and your day, that's actually helpful for your mind. So you want to have Monday through Sunday, ideally try to be able to create that. Some of your guys' jobs don't allow for it. Just realize this is a result of your career. That's what it is. Or what adjustments could you possibly make, right? Kids are different. I'm going to post a picture below this that shows the amount of sleep that you need depending on your age, just so you can gather that. And like for kids, if they're not getting enough sleep, they have other things that result. They have stunted growth, they have less development. Of course, they're in the learning cycle, so they're not learning as much. So you really want to make sure as the parent, you're also scheduling out that amount of sleep for your little ones to have them be their healthiest. All right, that was a lot of information for you guys today. I'm going to post a couple things because I think this is super interesting. I'm going to post 2 article links below this. I'm also going to post that picture so you know what the right amount of sleep is depending on your age. And then remember yesterday you guys all had a challenge, right? And we said that we're kind of changing our structure. You're going to write good morning sunshine, your gratitude, interact in any way you want. But we're going to close with saying I am committed. All right, so I am committed to what way are you committed to yourself? So if you would like to take on the next commitment, and you already are committed for 1 week, some of you guys from yesterday's, right? You already have like one level of commitment, which is awesome. Excited for you guys. This next one, and I won't do it as long. No, I still want to. I think 1 week is correct. I just do. And it might kind of pile up on itself, but whatever. We'll see as we go. Because I don't do Monday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? Your commitment today would be that you're committed to getting between 7 and 9 hours of sleep. No more, no less for the next week. And you'll actually do that by placing a time that you go to bed and setting an alarm when you're going to wake up. And if you're committed to that, what you write is, I am committed to 7 to 9 hours for the next week. So anybody who's willing to take that on, please do. You guys, thank you for joining me for the Miracle Morning today. We make sure that we start our days off powerfully, right? We set our mindset right. We set our attitudes right. And make sure you write your Good Morning Sunshine. If it's a rewatch, write rewatch. If it's your first time in, drop a 1 so that I know that you guys are, yes, Amy's committed. Yes, sorry, I just get so excited about this. But drop a 1 so that we know that you're new, and we shall see you guys tomorrow morning, because tomorrow is Friday. If you're in Colorado, try to stay cool. It's going to be hot out there. Thanks, guys.